Alright, we're in round 1, playing first. And let's see. This hand's alright. We need a second blue source to be able to play the click when we want to, but if we can play click at the right time, we get to go into skin render, into sword equip, so I like that a lot. I think that's some high upside here. I think I want to open with an island only because, well, maybe I don't. I was going to say for like a daze, but I can still just do that next turn. Whereas if I play a swamp here, I can play like a Bloodghast if I draw it. Alright, Thoughtseize is pretty solid. Probably taking out the sword, but little does he know. 2 more where that came from. Hey! Rewarded. Another blue-black deck. That's kind of a bummer. Oh, no. Reanimator? Alright. Well, could be in a little trouble from that. Pretty tempted to click. Could skin render kill the Prowler, but I'd rather click. Let's see what's in his hand. I'm going to do it during his draw step. If he counters it, it's alright. See what he's got. See what we're dealing with. Oh, geez. It's a lot of goodies. Well, Inquisition can hit Image, but I can probably live with that. Murderous Cut, I don't really care about too much. Recurring Nightmare I do care about. This can be broken in some circumstances, but I may have to take out the Hymn. I don't like the idea of losing more value. But then again, I'm pretty much just left with a skin render in my hand. That's the only card of substance that I really care about. If I just go for the reoccurring Nightmare, he's left with some discard that really stops mattering soon. I mean, I guess I see the argument for it. But I don't like the idea of recurring Nightmare doing busted stuff. Especially if he's got to be Reanimator. I'm going to take out recurring Nightmare. He's going to be left with some removal and hand disruption. But he doesn't even have the second black source yet for him. He's going to Inquisition me more than likely. Well, yeah, he doesn't even have the second black source. So getting rid of the recurring Nightmare. And I should actually print screen this. And then I go here. And then I go new one. Oh, I have to save this? Can't I just open a new? Why does it make... I can't have multiple instances of paint up? It's kind of annoying. Him to Tura. Alright, let's shake out the recurring Nightmare. He's going to be left with a Murderous Cut and hand disruption. Alright. Worst possible thing he could have gotten off the click, but what can we do? So he's going to him us, and then hopefully we'll keep our skin render, but or the Image. I'll settle for either one. So I could discard the Swamp. Doesn't really make sense to me, so we'll just take it. He's going to him us. more likely. He could also murderous cut us. Alright. Worst possible loss we could have gotten off the him to Turak, so very frustrated with that, but it's the way it goes down sometimes. Sometimes the worst things happen. Alright. Horrible draw, so that also sucks, but gonna tolerate it and keep getting in there. Pretty bummed about how this is going down, though. Taking out the recurring nightmare is pretty important, though. Think about it this way. If I didn't take out that reoccurring nightmare, he would be able to draw any fatty, immediately discard it, and then immediately play a reoccurring nightmare and get it back on the battlefield. So getting rid of that reanimator spell, in my opinion, was pretty much a necessity. I can play every card in my deck, so I'm just going to discard this. Get some damage prevention. He's got Murderous Cut, which, let's face it, at this point, pretty much needs to be played on that click. Let's see if he does it during his turn to avoid counter spells, which might be a good idea. Necrotal seems like it's going to be pretty awful in this matchup, unfortunately. So I think we're just going to play Necrotal for no value. This is going to have haste, so I'm actually not going to bring it on the battlefield now. Alright. Looter cannot block, so that's good. Still damage short of lethal. So get our blood gas back. Alright. So he's going to make me discard a land, which isn't so bad, but he is going to get to untap too. But it's just actually really good with Looter since he gets to untap and draw a discard, so pretty nice. Gets a chance to find something here. He does have to have 2 blockers, but I imagine he's got Grave Titan somewhere in there. Alright, thankfully we got there. So, unfortunately, Necrotal and Shriekmaw seem completely worthless in this match. Sword of Light and Shadow seems amazingly good. So I think we're swapping this with the War and Peace. Null Rod, he's got his own sword, so that's something to keep in mind. But it's almost assuredly he's a Reanimator deck, so I think the stuff we'd rather have... Let's ditch. We can keep Skin Render, which is kind of nice. Sower's going to be a lot worse because of removal, but it seemed like the removal we saw was just Murderous Cut and the rest was Hand Disruption. Shriekmaw's gone. Necrotal's gone. Let's bring in... Let's bring in Sarcomancy, because it does look like Beatdown can do some stuff against him. I could bring in Geralt's Messenger. I could bring in Ophiomancer, but I imagine he's got Gristlebrand, so maybe Damnation's where I want to be. But I don't know what to do about that reoccurring nightmare. It's just a problem. Guess I have Downfall and Damnation if I do this. 12 creatures in my deck. I kind of need more than that. I don't know if I have a choice, though. I could do a Feelmancer, or I could do Geralf's Messenger, too. Messenger probably difficult to cast, but I do have Urborg. Does not count as a swamp, though. 9 sources of black to cast Messenger. I mean, it's possible. It's going to be difficult. I also have Sower to take Gristlebrand, I guess. I'll try the Messenger out. Could be some problems, but see what we can do with it. Alright. This hand's actually fine. It's actually very good. We have the force for... I should actually turn off auto yields, because Force of Will is pretty good. Although I would not force a... yeah, you do not force the Thoughtseize. But the card draw is nice. Muldrifter seems good. Force of Will, like I said, on the reoccurring Nightmare or something relevant that I can't deal with. Like, I certainly won't do it to an Edict. We basically just hold Force until he's got the actual reanimation spell. At least we got the Unburial, right? So, no value there. Ooh, Gravecrawler, nice. All the beats. Just looking for one of our many pieces of solid equipment here. Debating whether I want a Muldrifter next turn. I feel like I want to wait on it, but I could do it. It's not bad. Ooh, with Mind Sculptor follow-up? Yeah, I think we're going to be evoking. So, let's play Island. We don't want to hook him up with all the black manas. So, Urborg does not... well, it's just one of those things where Urborg helps our opponent in this matchup. But that's all right. We're just getting some card draw going now because we're going to be busy for a few turns. And just evoking Muldrifter is nice. I like getting the card draw. And so we got some more removal. Looking pretty good. Just digging for some swords. If we can resolve this Jace, we're going to be in some excellent shape. I can just skin render that, so I'm going to allow it. So we are going to skip on Jace a turn here just to get the threat count up. Still have Force, just chilling, waiting to be cast. Once we resolve a Jace with the Force backup, I feel like we're in really good shape. If he finds a black source to him us, I probably will have to force Sower, lose these two, just because I don't want to risk losing Jace. Jace is like just too important, I think. Being able to brainstorm every turn, as well as, you know, bouncing stuff, fate sealing. There's just so much versatility. Hence why it was banned, because it's not exactly a fair card. All the mana's up. Let's see what he's got. Maybe Murderous Cut? I could see that. I don't even think I'd counter a Murderous Cut. Ooh, a little counter spell. Very nice. Let's play the Jace first. Actually, makes more sense to attack first, because if I play Jace, I'm not going to be able to do any of my equipment shenanigans anyway. So I think we just get in there. See if he taps out at least to like kill Skinrender. Having Counterspell in Force in hand makes me feel really good. Yep, totally taking that. Now we play Jace. We get to, I could Fate Seal, but I think I'm going to Brainstorm. So put 2 from my hand on top of my library in any order. So we still need to play a land this turn, so let's put, I don't want to play Urborg for a little bit. So let's put this on top and the sword, I guess. Play a land, and then we'll pass. And Force, Counterspell up next turn. We've got Jace. Bloodline Keeper. I can Sower that. Yeah, so we're just going to Sower, steal that guy. He's found his second Black Source finally, but it's alright. Yes, I could have forced that, but I don't see any reason to. So now I think we just Sower. Maybe I Brainstorm first. Alright. So now we can Sower with Counterspell back up. So let's put Compulsive and Urborg on top. We play the land, we play the Sower. Steal the Bloodline Keeper. Get in with the Gravecrawler, pass turn. So now we've got Force and Counterspell. Just pretty bonkers. If we have to discard Strix to force, or exile it rather, it's no big deal. Go for the Throat there, we'll just counter that. No problem. All right. So now I think we actually start Fate Sealing. Keep our opponent off relevant stuff. No, you can keep your Mox Pearl. Unless he needs white, it's not going to do anything. I still kind of don't want to play Urborg. I think we just play Sword. I'm going to equip I could equip my Sword to protect it from blue, which isn't a bad idea, but where he could just concede. Is that lethal? Maybe that's what. 3, 5, 9, 10, 11. We're 1 short of lethal, but all right, that hand worked out really well. Deck played well. I liked it in a mirror match. That was kind of fun. Yeah, Counterspell, Force, of course, still doing all sorts of nasty, nasty things, and Jace the Mind Sculptor also being quite busted. So very cool. We'll see you in round 2.